Hello everyone and welcome to Photo Finds. I'm your host, Gavin Hatch. Since it's the beginning of the month, we're going to do our monthly time hop episode where we go back a few years and look at what the parks were doing in 2013, 14, and 15. And these pictures are coming from past Photo Find episodes. So let's go ahead and start in 2013. Now, over at Epcot at the Land Pavilion, there was an escalator that was out of service for a couple of weeks, and so while that was being worked on, the way to let guests that, of course, could not go up and down stairs into that area, onto the concourse, the bottom level where Soarin' was, they were having guests enter through a backstage area that usually would never get to go through. And this happens quite often in Disney parks. I mean, from time to time, they have to do it for either just guest traffic flow or because of construction. And of course, they don't just let you see everything. They do kind of remove lots of things back there, such as ride vehicles or vehicles themselves away from the area. And then they cover up the buildings and make a pathway so you know to stay on a certain path to not wander off into other backstage areas by using plants, as you can see here. So this was a pathway. I did not get to experience this for myself, but this would have been really cool because I've never been backstage at Epcot before. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, comment below and let me know if you've ever been evacuated off of a ride and had to be taken backstage to get back to the guest areas. That happens quite often. I mean, there's many attractions like Splash Mountain. There's videos of Splash Mountain online of people being evacuated from that and going backstage. Of course, taking pictures and videos is not allowed, and I don't condone it, but it does happen. But if you've ever experienced any backstage access like that before and seen anything out of the ordinary that you weren't used to seeing in guest areas, comment below and let me know what that experience was like. It was also this time in 2013 that the construction was still going on over at the Magic Kingdom, adding those additional bus loops and bus stops for guests staying at the on-site hotels and resorts. And this is definitely, this was a must-have because it definitely helps with the traffic of the monorails, so they don't have guests having to take the monorails over to the TTC to then get onto a motor coach. They can take the motor coach directly from the Magic Kingdom park, so this was a great addition. Now inside the Magic Kingdom, refurbishments were taking place on the carousel in Fantasyland. Now I can't tell from these pictures if the carousel was still operational and they just had this obstructed viewing, or if this actually did make the attraction go down while refurbishments were taking place. Now, have you ever been to a park and you were really looking forward to riding something and you couldn't because it was down for an extended refurbishments during that time? I went to Disneyland Park twice and I was not able to see Mickey and the Magical Map, which is an amazing stage production. I've now since seen it, but my first two visits I could not do it because they were not either showing the show that day or it was down for refurbishments in the stage at least. So I was kind of bummed and sad about that, but it happens. So in the comments below, if you're watching this on YouTube, let me know, have you ever been to the parks and really planning to see a certain attraction, but when you got there it wasn't operational during your stay? Comment below. And here's an update on the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train coaster. As you can see, paint was starting to be added to the rock work around the attraction and really starting to take shape, so almost finished with all the rock work, but of course no plants or any ride vehicles testing just yet. Now you might remember this from your vacation back in 2013. There was a power strip located in the Tomorrowland Power and Light Company, which is the gift store at the exit of Space Mountain. So this was put here for guests to be able to plug in and charge their electronic devices, which is a nice thing. They still have these around the parks, but of course it doesn't look like this. It's not one long power strip. It's now kind of multiple outlets throughout the areas. There's themed ones over in Fantasyland. There's two locations, which is nice, in Storybook Circus and over by the restrooms across from Peter Pan's Flight and between Fantasyland and Haunted Mansion. So you can still plug in and bring things to charge up your devices, and of course it's really popular these days to do so because of the new Pokemon Go game that really depletes your battery very quickly. But this was a very interesting setup. This was back before the arcade closed down, and this was also before the Disney D-Tech On Demand location opened up where you can now personalize Magic Bands. But I don't believe this power strip is still there. Now leaving the Magic Kingdom on the monorail, you can see that the Grand Floridians DVC expansion here was really coming along and it looks to be almost finished. But yeah, of course, it's beautiful. If you've gotten the chance to stay here, I'm so jealous because I did take a tour of these when they first opened them up and they allowed the public to come in and see what they look like, and it's just so beautiful, and some of these views that you get are stunning of the Magic Kingdom and of the Seven Seas Lagoon. Now let's hop to the beginning of August in 2014 at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Now, the beginning of this summer, they went ahead and premiered the projections on the Tree of Life and also the Jungle Book Alive with Magic, which is an awesome show that was supposed to be Rivers of Light, but Rivers of Light is coming, but it had some setbacks, and the Jungle Book show has been very popular. Now, it took a while for all this to come together, and you'll see by these pictures, I mean, the construction walls and testing for all the nighttime stuff was taking place in the summer of 2014. So it's crazy how, I mean, it did take a while for all this to come together, but you can see these construction walls were all around the area, completely surrounding the Tree of Life, to the point where the Bugs Life show was not being shown. That attraction was not open, but did open up later on this month in 2014. But it's so crazy because you can see that they had special lights on top of the buildings, and at night they were testing different things and just really kind of getting it perfected, which, I mean, the wait was worth it because it's been an awesome experience, and it's been nice being able to go to Animal Kingdom at night and stay there late, which is really unique. But it's so crazy to see how this area has just really changed and how they did expand it and make it where the crowds that have been here all summer at night have been able to, it's been nice traffic flow, it's not too congested and not too dark either. This is a shot here of Discovery River, and you can see this is before any construction started on the amphitheater. So this is before the amphitheater was built and nothing had been moved or changed yet. It was still just plants and brush, but of course now it looks completely different, but it does look very well done and fits in perfectly with the rest of the land and the rest of the park. Now, I'm not sure if they still do this, but in the summer of 2014, they did have this little display set up here, and they had like a little miniature show featuring these birds that were advertising the Flights of Wonder show that they have in the park every day. So this was to get guests in the front of the park to pay attention and be aware of that show to go see that later on in the afternoon. And again, I'm not sure if they still do this, but apparently this was a neat little thing that they did earlier in the day with music, and they had the trainers there, and they had multiple birds that kind of just flew around on their own without having to have assistance from the trainers. But it is something that I never saw in person, and I'm not sure if they still do this today, but this is really cool. I mean, this is beautiful. These birds are gorgeous. So let's fast forward to 2015, August of 2015, and hop over to Disney's Hollywood Studios. Now, I took these pictures, and it's crazy to think, when I was in the park this time last year, I would never have thought that Frozen would no longer be everywhere. It would be Star Wars instead. But of course, now that is the case. Star Wars has been, I mean, the most popular thing happening this year, and this summer, I mean, Disney's Hollywood Studios has definitely showcased all the Star Wars stuff. And of course you have the launch bay, you have new shows, you have the new fireworks, and they've changed it now twice. So it's crazy how it went from Frozen and everything in the park seemed to be Frozen oriented to now Star Wars, which I'm okay with that change. Now remember, this was the Ice Palace Boutique. This was over where you used to audition for the American Idol experience back in the day. But the Ice Palace Boutique was here, so it was very similar to the Bippity Boppity Boutique, where you could get made over, but of course your dresses and attire were all Frozen related and themed. This is no longer there, so this has been closed. But this was here for a short time, and I think maybe it was just there for the summer. But I did check that out in August of 2015. Next to the Hyperion Theater, they had the Frozen Fever animated short being shown, so guests had the chance to go inside and enjoy some air conditioning and watch more Frozen. It was this time last year that the magic of Disney animation had not been closed for too long, and they had already started construction on the Star Wars launch bay. Nothing really had been changed to the outside. The exterior of the building had not been touched yet, but of course the inside was being gutted and redone. So of course now it is the Star Wars launch bay, which has been very popular, proven very successful, and a great place to go and duck out and meet your favorite Star Wars characters. Now, this time last year, over at the Magic Kingdom, the construction on the renovation and expansion of the hub at the Magic Kingdom Park and from Cinderella's Castle, that was almost completed. It was almost done, and it took a while for this to get completed. And I'm telling you what, at first I was very apprehensive of what they were going to do and how they were going to change the look the classic look of the hub and of Magic Kingdom Park, but I'm telling you what, I'm happy with the results, and it looks great. And this, of course, was just, I mean, it was an annoying thing because every time you came into the park, there were construction walls up all around, and it kind of just took away from the magic when you saw the shows and saw the parades and things coming through. But of course now it makes things a lot easier when it comes to traffic flow and guest traffic. And of course, I'm sure the performers that have to dance in the streets enjoy it as well, because there's more space for guests to be able to go ahead and spread out and watch. And if you don't want to watch, there's plenty of areas and pathways for you to take to kind of, make your way around all the hustle and bustle and all the entertainment and things going on in the hub. So I was very happy with the end result, and it looks great today. It definitely looks just like what the concept art said it was going to look like, and usually you don't see that. You always see concept art kind of embellish and not come out the way the end result really does look like, but this was really well done. Well, that will do it for this edition of Photo Finds and take care of this month's episode of, our Time Hop episode. I hope you guys do enjoy these, and go ahead and comment below if you're watching this on YouTube, and just let me know what your thoughts are on all the things we talked about. And of course, if you have any memories from your visits from 2013, 14, or 15, let me know and tell me what your experience was like here in Florida, if anything really special happened. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, again, if you're watching this on YouTube, and of course, subscribe to Attractions Magazine. Until next time, make sure you get out, you have fun, and you enjoy those parks.